So I wanted to talk about probably the most important principle that we talk about in chiropractic, and that's the three main areas that can change the function of our health. So when we look at health, it is more of a spectrum as opposed to an on-off switch. So there can be someone that is obviously really high at one end of the spectrum, and then there can be someone all the way down at the other end of the spectrum, and then we have everyone basically in between. But essentially what we know is for health to express itself, essentially the level of repair or recovery on the body has to be better than the level of breakdown. So essentially what you've got two areas. If you've got functions or activities that are going to help to build and strengthen and improve your body, and then you can have areas that are obviously going to really break it down and actually start to make health non-expressive. So we start to express disease as opposed to health. Now, the three main areas that we can look at that will cause changes in health. In chiropractic, we call these the three T's. The reason we call them the three T's is they all start with T, but they essentially cover the three main areas where we'll start to see changes in our body. So, the first T is the one that most people will actually think about when they think about coming to see a chiropractor, and that is trauma. Okay, so trauma, essentially, this could be anything from a fall to sitting on your backside all day and not actually doing any movement. Essentially, these cause physical stress on the body, and as a result of causing physical stress on the body, can actually start to deform and misshape the tissues of a body and actually start to cause stress. So say, for example, if you fell down the stairs or fell off of a horse, there's a chance that you could break a bone. If you sat for too long, you can stretch and stress the muscles and the ligaments, and as a result, you start to cause stress on the tissues that way. So there are a multitude of different ways that you could do this. The second one is called toxicity. This essentially is what we're putting into our body. So this could be anything from drinking too much alcohol, smoking too many cigarettes, taking too many drugs, whether that's prescription or recreational, because all of these will actually have an impact chemically inside of our body. And as a result, can actually start to change our health as well. So there are things that we can do that are putting into our body that will actually change the expression of health, both in a positive and a negative way. So we have actually got chemicals that we can put in that will actually promote health as opposed to break it down. And the last one is thoughts. How we think and how we express life is essentially a big factor on how we express health. And actually the true definition of health is complete physical, mental and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. And so you've got mental and social in there. And so what we basically know is the way that we feel or think about ourselves will massively affect us. Now, at the moment, with the current climate, this is probably one of the biggest ones that I would obviously recommend that we start looking after, because the levels of stress are going up. What we know about this situation is that actually everything is going to calm down eventually, and we will come out the other side. But if we can start to learn how to control the volume of this in our life and how we can actually start to go about improving it, we can actually start to change the expression of our health and start moving towards health as opposed to disease. Guys, I hope you really find this helpful. If you've got any questions on it, please comment below and I can explain a little bit more detail about any of these particular areas.